It's just after 10:30 at night in rural Colleton County, South Carolina. Officers are standing in the dirt outside a dog kennel on a 1,700-acre hunting property called Moselle. 2 bodies are on the ground, a woman and a young man, both shot in the head. The man who called 911 is standing off to the side in a white t-shirt. He says he's the husband and father. He says he came home from visiting his mother and found them like this. He brought a shotgun from the house for protection. Officers secured it. But something at this scene doesn't add up, and the officers are already talking about it. 2 different weapons. Shotgun wadding near one body. 300 blackout rifle casings near the other, but there's no rifle at the scene, and the only gun the husband brought out is a shotgun.
Just so you know, I've got at least 5 holes in the window in the back of that shed where rounds were exiting out back that way.
Which is going to be about shot because of the damn wadding on the floor. I mean, he was carrying a shotgun when we got here.
It is currently in my vehicle.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. His wife.
Thank you.
Y'all just make sure on that side, that's it, nobody else.
I'm even slightly more confused now if that is a suicide.
How many pellets are normally in a buckshot?
10, 12.
The reason I asked is just because the holes that are in that window look very large.
Yeah, there's some glass.
Some of them larger, some of them smaller.
It'd be hard to, you'd need it in wood or something solid.
And there's a whole bunch of trees back there, so they might be able to find something in a tree. I don't know.
Well, I knew it was his wife.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I heard it was his wife, but I haven't heard it now. Her name.
Where did it look like she was at, Daniel?
Her head.
Back of her head.
Looked like a shotgun or rifle round?
That I couldn't tell. There's a big old hole coming out the back of her head. And hair all over the place, so it looked like it probably went in and then came out. And his looked more like the top of his head.
The round on him had a big wad behind it, so it was a shotgun.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of 300, there's 2 300 blackout shell casings there, 3 of them right there, and then inside is a shotgun wadding, but we did not see a shotgun shell anywhere.
Which almost leads you to
What kind of shotgun did you put in your truck?
I believe it's a 12 gauge.
No, not.
I don't.
Over and under auto
Pump.
It may still be in the chamber.
Yeah, that would answer the question.
Was there any blood on it?
I didn't look super closely at it. I was more concerned with getting it away from him and
But if he's,
securing it.
if he's stretched out because it went in here,
Multiple casings, 1 wound each, 2 different weapons, no rifle recovered. Officers are whispering to each other in the dark, trying to make sense of a scene that the husband's story doesn't explain. One of them says what everyone is already thinking.
I have no clue, but here's what I'm
He had a shotgun.
But basically, not his actual brain, but his brain matter is on the ceiling in there. So he was shot at an upward angle. There's a shotgun wad laying on the floor.
Appreciate it.
That would point to suicide. That doesn't explain her or all the 300 blackout casings.
so he got here, took the shotgun.
That's what I'm thinking.
She's on trespass for gray wig, black tank top, jeans, and pink shoes.
Yeah, that's the outlier.
She's on the grocery side.
Yeah, that and the
300 black.
dozen shell casings from 300 blackout.
For a few minutes, officers consider whether the son might have killed the mother and then turned the shotgun on himself. It would explain why the shotgun is at the scene, but it doesn't explain the rifle casings. It doesn't explain why there's no rifle. And it doesn't explain why the man standing 50 yards away in a white t-shirt already had an alibi ready before anyone asked. His name is Alex Murdaugh. He is a fourth-generation attorney in one of the most powerful legal families in South Carolina's Low Country. His great-grandfather, grandfather, and father all served as the region's chief prosecutor. His family's name is on buildings, it's in courtrooms, and for the next 2 years it will be at the center of the most explosive murder case the state has ever seen. But on this night, June 7th, 2021, nobody at the scene suspects him yet. They will. Let's go back to what officers heard when they arrived. Alex Murdaugh called 911 at 10:07 p.m. He said his wife and son had been shot. When the first deputy pulled up to the kennel, Murdaugh was standing outside. He had a shotgun leaning against his vehicle.
Scene is secure. Got a Whiskey Fox, Whiskey Mike, both gunshot wounds to the head.
Sir, I want to let you know because of the scene, I did go get a gun and bring it down here.
It's in your vehicle? Do you have any guns on you at all?
No, sir. It's leaning up against the side of my car.
Okay. You're fine, man. You're fine. Turn around for me.
I don't have any guns.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son?
And son.
Okay.
It's bad. It's bad. Take the bullets.
Yes, sir. This is the firearm you brought from inside the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went and and this is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck the months back. He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious.
Okay.
He's been getting punched. I know that's what it is.
Okay.
Before anyone asks him for a theory, Murdaugh offers one. His son Paul had been involved in a boat crash in 2019 that killed a 19-year-old girl named Mallory Beach. Paul was charged with boating under the influence. The family had been receiving threats ever since. That's what this is, Murdaugh says. Retaliation for the boat crash.
When did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left, I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Okay.
He came home from visiting his mother, went to the main house. Nobody was home. Drove down to the kennels, found them. Called 911. That's his story. Clean. Simple. He'll repeat it, with minor variations for the next 2 years.
When was the last time you were here with them? Or talked to them or anything like that?
It was earlier tonight. I don't know the exact time, but
Okay.
I left. I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's, and I saw them about 45 minutes before that.
Okay.
I rode around with Paul for 2 hours this afternoon in the pickup truck.
That's your son, Paul? Okay.
He says he was with Paul that afternoon. Rode around the property for 2 hours, came back, ate supper with Maggie and Paul, then fell asleep on the couch, woke up, left for his mother's house, came home, found them dead. He's cooperative. He's emotional. He's offering details without being asked, and the deputies standing around him in the dark have no reason not to believe him, because to them, Alex Murdaugh isn't a suspect. He's a victim. He's one of the most respected attorneys in the region. His family built the justice system they work for. But the 300 blackout casings on the ground are telling a different story, and it's only a matter of time before someone listens. 3 days later, June 10th, 2021, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, sits down with Murdaugh for a voluntary interview. It's not an interrogation. There's no confrontation, no accusation, just a conversation between a grieving husband and father and the agents trying to help find who killed his family. Murdaugh starts by handing over his cell phone. Willingly, he gives them the passcode, reads it out loud.
And if you got a passcode,
My passcode is,
I'll write it on there.
start at the bottom 9, go up 9669.
9669.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me run this till I'll be right back.
He's making it easy for them, too easy, because Alex Murdaugh knows exactly what's on that phone and what isn't. What he doesn't know, not yet, is that his son Paul's phone contains something that will eventually destroy his alibi entirely. The agent walks Murdaugh through his Monday. Take me through your day. Start in the morning.
So when we spoke the other night, I got kind of a basic overview.
Yes, sir.
And it was pretty traumatic.
That's okay. I know you need to ask me. You ask me what you need to.
So I want you to, let's start Monday morning and take me through your day.
Monday morning, did I do Monday morning? My wife and my older son had gone to the baseball games that weekend. I really can't remember what I did Monday. I know I went to work, but I think I was dragging a little bit from the weekend, but I went to work. I usually mess around on my farm, and then I go to work. I was at work.
The office in Hampton, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I was at my office in Hampton. I was just at my office doing
Legal work.
Yes, sir. I'm sure I can go back and probably recreate some specifics if you need me to, but I can't sit here and recall on the top of my head exactly what I was working on. I know one thing I was working on was we had some big motions coming up in a Dominion Energy case. I was getting ready for those. And I was getting ready for some motions. I'm a defendant in a civil case involving my son. I told you about the boat wreck.
Yes, sir.
And there were some motions coming up in that on Thursday, and I was mostly just getting ready for those things, and then other junk.
He mentions the boat wreck again, just like at the scene. He's threading it into every conversation, planting the idea that Paul's death is connected to the crash, to the threats, to the lawsuits. But the agent isn't focused on the boat crash. He's focused on the timeline.
And so you went to the office, you did, some motions. What time did you leave the office?
I left a little bit earlier than normal because my son Paul was coming home.
Okay.
Because he had not been with us during the weekend, and he was coming home. We were going to replant some sunflowers the next day.
Okay.
And so he was calibrating, doing and getting everything ready. So he got home a little early. I left a little early, so he and I could knock around, and we knocked around for, just doing things we like to do out there.
Okay.
We're riding around looking at food plots, looking for hogs, a little bit of target shooting, just bullshit.
Yeah.
Murdaugh says he and Paul rode around the property that afternoon, target practice, checking the crops, father-son time. When the agent asks what they were shooting, Murdaugh says a .22 Magnum, maybe rat shot. Paul shot twice, he shot once. That's it. The agent asks about the evening.
Just out of curiosity, target practice, what about shooting?
Just a little bottle. You give me what gun?
Yeah.
A .22
Okay.
Magnum.
Rat shot.
I think. No, it wasn't rat shot. I think he shot 2 times and I shot 1 time.
Okay. So after y'all got finished riding around, try to take me through the rest of the evening.
Alright, you know, at some point we were all back at the house together. Maggie had gotten home, and, you know, we sat down, we ate supper, which we usually eat supper together. The one thing I remember, I don't know how much detail y'all want, so if I start talking about something that you don't need, just tell me and I'll move to something else.
The more detail, the better.
So Paul has been having high blood pressure, and his mama was worried sick about it. So we were actually, you know, this was a direct thing, getting him, he doesn't like to go to doctors, making him go get his blood pressure checked. His feet had swollen up recently.
Wow.
So, you know, it was a big, huge deal.
Okay.
You know, we hung around the house for a little while. I know that Maggie went to the kennels. I don't know exactly where Paul went, but he left the house too.
Okay.
According to Murdaugh, after dinner, Maggie went to the dog kennels. Paul left too, and Murdaugh stayed at the house, watched TV, fell asleep on the couch. When he woke up, he checked his phone, texted Maggie, then left to visit his mother.
How did Maggie get down to the kennels?
I don't know exactly, but on normal occasions she would drive a buggy, drive a four-wheeler, or very common for her to walk.
Okay. How about Paul?
Paul wasn't much of a walker, but he would use all of the others.
Okay.
But it could be anyway, okay. You know. I don't know exactly. I wish I could help you with that.
So they left and went down to the kennels.
Well, Maggie went to go to the kennels.
Okay. Paul left.
And I'm assuming, you know, Paul left.
Okay.
Because of, you know,
gotcha.
What happened. I mean, I'm assuming Paul went to the kennels.
Okay. And what did you do once Maggie and Paul left?
I stayed in the house.
Okay.
And I was watching TV, looking at my phone, and I actually fell asleep on the couch.
Okay. And what time did you?
You know, I don't know
wake up?
Exactly what time I woke up, but when y'all get my phone, you know, I think one of the first things I did when I got up was call Maggie, because I was going to my mom's. And I know I texted her because I checked my phone. And what time did we say the text was, Jim? Like 9:06?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I got it written down from the other night.
I showed you the other night, didn't I?
Yes, sir. I got this.
So, you know, I texted her, so I called her just before that. And, I mean, she didn't answer at that point. And I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
Y'all just have to look. I'm not sure if I called Paul.
Well, and that's why we're getting the phone, so we can nail down the times and everything.
So I left, drove. Well, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all this, even though I think it's kind of crazy. You know, I was certain that I heard them pull up. I mean, I was positive that I heard. And people don't just come out there. You know, we don't get like passed through. I was certain that I heard them pull up, but they didn't.
Okay. Well, if you heard something pull up, what did it sound like?
You know, I can't tell you what it sounded like. I just know that I thought that my wife had pulled up, or that Paul had pulled up.
Would it have been the buggy that she normally drives, or would it be a car?
No. I had the impression that a car pulled up.
Okay.
You know?
And had you woken up by that time, but hadn't left for your mom's?
Yep.
Okay.
But it wasn't much time in between there because I left pretty damn close. It wasn't much time between me waking up and me leaving the house.
Okay.
And when I went outside, you know, there's a wild cat that lives around that house. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was the cat that ran from my car, but you know, I never had the impression it was a person, but there was something. Okay. You know, but I really don't think, you know, I'm just throwing that out there because it was in my mind.
Yeah, no, that's fine. All right. That's totally fine.
I left, I drove to my mom's. I checked on my mom. She lives
right out here, correct?
She lives at Alameda. Okay. Checked on my mom. Talked with Shelly for a few minutes. You know.
Shelly is?
The caregiver.
Okay.
And, you know, I know that I called some people on the way that I know I returned a call from my brother John. I know that I called Chris Wilson. I know that I talked to Buster. So I made a few phone calls.
Okay.
And
where was Buster?
Buster was in Rock Hill.
Okay. Is that where he lives, or?
No, he lives in Columbia, but he just started a new job. He's going back to law school in January.
Okay.
So he's working a little part-time job with Wild Wings.
Okay.
Through January.
Gotcha.
You know, just kind of killing time. And he was in, his girlfriend lives in Rock Hill. She's studying for the bar exam, so.
Then he came home. Nobody at the house. Nobody at the kennels either, except Maggie and Paul on the ground. That's his story. He tells it calmly. He cries at the right moments. He pauses when he should. He offers up his phone, his DNA, his full cooperation. He even volunteers to connect the agents with Maggie's parents, so they feel reassured in his working the case.
I know Maggie's mother just had a knee replacement. How is their health overall, other than that?
You know, they're ailing a little bit. They're getting on up there. Daddy has some neuropathy, but I mean, they're in good physical health. They're in good, you know, their fortitude is good. They're just, you know, they're just getting age on them, you know?
Yes, sir. Are they in Somerville, or are they at the house on Moselle?
No, they didn't. They lived in Somerville.
Okay.
But they're here now.
Oh, they're here in this house?
No, they're in Moselle.
Okay. Because I mean, I'll go by and speak with them and meet with them. If you think that would help. Or?
I think that would help a tremendous amount if you would just be willing just to sit down and let them. I mean, you know, hearing from me and John Marvin and Danny and whoever, what little tidbits y'all get, I just, you know what, I think it would give them peace of mind to know that y'all got a team of people out there on it.
Yes, sir.
And you know, just to really have something, you know, a tangible person instead of being told.
How is your relationship with Maggie?
Very good. As good as it could possibly be. I mean, you know, we had our issues, but wonderful.
And I'm just trying to understand the family dynamic.
I understand you got to do what you got to do, I promise.
What was y'all's biggest arguments? What your biggest the things that y'all would argue about the most? What would they be over?
I mean, we really didn't argue, but the basic, I'd say the only thing that caused any friction between us is that she was always wanting us to go, and I love her in-laws. I mean, they're wonderful people. I love them to death. She was always wanting to go there, stay there a little longer than me and the boys wanted to stay. That was really, and it really, you know, she'd get ticked off.
Yeah. Take your time. Good. Tissues.
I'm sorry.
You good.
Hey, she was a wonderful girl and a wonderful wife. And she was a great mother. She didn't work. And she always said it was her job since she was privileged enough not to work. She was going to make sure she took care of me and the boys. And I mean, she did everything. She did absolutely everything. I'm sorry.
No, you have every right to do that.
A wonderful marriage, a wonderful wife, a wonderful family. That's the picture Murdaugh is painting for SLED. And at this point in the investigation, nobody has evidence to contradict it. The agents thank him. They take a buccal swab for DNA elimination. They hand him a victim advocate card. They talk about small-town connections and mutual acquaintances in Barnwell County. The whole thing has the energy of a meeting between colleagues, not an investigation into a double homicide. But here's what Murdaugh doesn't know. While he's sitting in that interview volunteering information about his wonderful life, investigators have already started pulling cell tower data, GPS records, and something far more damaging, a video.
Alright, well, y'all got my numbers.
Think you'd say with that phone, it'll take a while.
I'm gonna go check on it. Y'all can go back in the house. When it's done, I'll bring it to you.
Let me do the
Oh, the buckle, yes.
buckle.
Let's do the buckle swab right quick.
You can sit where you at, Alex, and I'm gonna step out, but I got glove up and.
Oh, what?
The buckle, the buckle swab, yeah.
Oh, do I need to spit out my tobacco?
It might be better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I'll get everything together.
I'm doing the consent now.
That's fine, I'm gonna go ahead and, where's your gloves at?
You didn't grab gloves?
I did not, but I know one of these vehicles has got gloves. I'm not in my.
It's hot out there. Do I need to get out?
No, sir, you keep your seat right
I'm gonna
there.
stay in this AC then.
Yes, sir. I got the other part. You hear me, Dave?
What's that?
I got the actual one you can write on the envelope.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you fill out the envelope.
I really appreciate you taking the time to come meet with them.
Not a problem. This is what I do.
You ever have any dealings with a sled agent named Jarrett Maffett?
No, sir, I don't.
Said Maffett?
Yeah.
I know him.
He lived in that little green cabin up at my property.
Okay. Does anybody live in that now?
No, the kids use it like in the summertime or when
Okay.
they're having parties and stuff like that, you know. But when I first got it, Jarrett was on the highway patrol and he lived there.
Okay.
He was stationed in Hampton County.
That's been a while ago.
It's been a long time. He's a good boy. I think he's a real good officer too.
David, I already got that one filled out. All he got to do is sign.
Oh, the consent?
Sorry about that.
Now
apply my contacts. You do it, Alex. Sir? Would you, this is the consent for the buckle. Sign right there for me. Where? Right here. Date? Yeah, I already got the date on it. Just throw them up on the dash. Sorry. Please. God. Did you drop something?
I just dropped that card.
I got another one.
I got it.
Okay.
This is, you keep your seat, keep your seat. This is a seal swab. No, I'm gonna go inside your cheek. There's two swabs.
Just do what you need to do.
Alright, there's two swabs. We're gonna do one on the right cheek, one on the left cheek. When he finishes with that envelope, we'll just seal them back in there and I'll get you to sign it for me, okay? Go right inside your cheek. You got it?
Right. I just don't have gloves on my hands, so I don't want to.
This is left cheek.
Glove right there, please, sir.
All right. All right. My left, your right. All right. That it? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Are we done?
I'm gonna seal that envelope and let you initial it. If that's okay.
Among the evidence recovered from Paul Murdaugh's phone is a short video taken at the dog kennels on the night of June 7th. Paul filmed it just minutes before he was killed. In the video, you can hear three voices: Paul's, Maggie's, and Alex's. Alex Murdaugh, the man who told deputies he was asleep on the couch when his wife and son went to the kennels. The man who told SLED agents he never went down there that evening. The man who said he woke up, texted Maggie, and left for his mother's house without ever setting foot near the kennels. Is on that recording, his voice, at the kennels, minutes before the murders. He lied, and that lie is the thread that once pulled will unravel everything. When confronted at trial, Murdaugh will eventually admit he was at the kennels that night, something he denied for 20 months. He'll say he was scared. He'll say he lied because of his opioid addiction, his paranoia, his fear that being the last person with them would make him look guilty. But by the time he admits it, the jury will have already heard the recording. 3 voices going to the kennels, 1 voice coming back. To understand why Murdaugh killed his wife and son, you have to understand what was closing in on him. In February 2019, Paul Murdaugh was driving a boat drunk when it crashed, killing 19-year-old Mallory Beach. the Beach family filed a wrongful death lawsuit, not just against Paul, but against the Murdaugh family. The attorney handling that lawsuit was Mark Tinsley, and Tinsley wasn't just looking at the boat crash. He was looking at Alex Murdaugh's finances, and what he found was a catastrophe. For years, decades possibly, Alex Murdaugh had been stealing from his clients, his law firm, and his family millions of dollars. He took settlement money meant for the family of his housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, who died after a fall at the Murdaugh home. He created a fake bank account with a name almost identical to a legitimate settlement fund and funneled money into it. He stole from vulnerable people, accident victims, grieving families, and used the money to fund an opioid addiction and a lifestyle that was collapsing from the inside. By June 2021, the walls were closing in. Tinsley's lawsuit was about to force a full accounting of the Murdaugh finances. A court hearing was scheduled. If Murdaugh's books were opened, everything would come out. The theft, the fake accounts, the missing millions, his career, his freedom, his family name, all of it would be gone. Mark Tinsley, the attorney who was suing Murdaugh when the murders happened, would later explain the motive at trial. The most successful liars weave some element of truth into their lie, and Murdaugh himself told his sister-in-law that whoever did this had been planning it for a long time. Tinsley agreed with that statement. He believes Murdaugh needed to become a victim. He needed the sympathy. He needed the legal proceedings to stop. And the only way to get that was to make sure Maggie and Paul couldn't be deposed, couldn't testify, couldn't be used as leverage in the lawsuits that were about to expose him. 3 people went to the kennels that night. 1 liar returned. In the months after the murders, Murdaugh's life disintegrated faster than even he could manage. September 2021, 3 months after the killings, Murdaugh was found on the side of a rural road with a gunshot wound to the head. He claimed he'd been shot by a passing stranger. It was a lie. He had arranged for a former client named Curtis Eddie Smith to shoot him so his surviving son Buster could collect a $10 million life insurance payout. Smith botched the job. Murdaugh survived, and the cover story fell apart within days. He was fired from his own law firm, the firm that bore his family's name for over a century, after partners discovered he'd been stealing client funds. The state grand jury indicted him on dozens of financial crimes. The total amount stolen, somewhere in the range of $8 to $9 million. He would eventually plead guilty to 19 counts of money laundering and financial fraud. He was sentenced to 27 years by the state and 40 years by the federal government. And then, on top of all of it, the murder charges. In January 2023, Alex Murdaugh went on trial for the murders of Maggie and Paul at the Colleton County Courthouse. The prosecution, led by Creighton Waters, built their case on 3 pillars: the kennel video that placed Murdaugh at the scene, the financial motive that gave him a reason to kill, and the lies he told every single person
to the
who
dramatic
asked him what
turn in
happened
the
that
Alex
night.
Murdaugh case,
The
just
defense
days
argued there
after
was
that
no
stunning
direct
reversal
physical
of his
evidence
double murder
linking Murdaugh to the
conviction.
murders.
South Carolina
No
prosecutors
DNA,
say he
no
could now
murder
face the
weapons
death
recovered,
penalty
no
in a new
eyewitnesses.
murder trial.
They pointed
Here's
to the
ABC's
threats
Andrew
Paul had
Dimber.
received after the boat crash.
Tonight, the
They
stunning
raised
new
questions
twist in the
about
Alex Murdaugh
investigation,
murder saga.
and they put
Prosecutors
Murdaugh
in
on
South
the stand.
Carolina
It
signaling
was a
they may
gamble,
now pursue
and
the
it
death
backfired.
penalty in retrial
On the
after
stand,
Murdaugh's
Murdaugh
convictions for
admitted
murdering
for
his
the
wife
first
and
time
son
that
in
he
their
had
home in
lied about being at
2021
the kennels.
were overturned.
After 20
In a
months
statement,
of
the
denying
South Carolina
it to police,
Attorney General
to
saying,
SLED, to
"We're
his
back
own
to square
family,
one in this
he
case,
admitted he
and
was
that
there
means
that
all
night,
our legal
minutes
options
before the
are on the
murders.
table,
He said he
including the
lied
death
because
penalty."
he was scared, because of his addictions, because he knew being the last person with them would make him look guilty. The prosecution tore him apart. If you lied about that, what else are you lying about? If you were at the kennels, and they were killed at the kennels, and you're the only one who walked away, what happened? The jury deliberated for under 3 hours. Guilty, both counts, murder of Maggie, murder of Paul. Alex Murdaugh was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. And then, 2 years later, The conviction was thrown out. In 2026, the South Carolina Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, overturned Alex Murdaugh's murder convictions. Not because of the evidence, not because they believed he was innocent, but because of one woman, Becky Hill. Becky Hill was the Colleton County Clerk of Court. She ran the courthouse where the trial was held. She even read the verdict aloud. And according to the Supreme Court, she tampered with the jury. The justices found that Hill made improper comments to jurors during the trial. She told some of them not to be fooled by Murdaugh's defense. She told them to watch him closely when he testified. She signaled that she believed he was guilty before the jury ever began deliberating. The court called her conduct shocking. They said she egregiously attacked Murdaugh's credibility and his defense. They said she placed her fingers on the scales of justice. Becky Hill later resigned. She pleaded guilty to perjury and misconduct in office, charges related to leaking sealed crime scene photos. She denies the jury tampering allegations. But the Supreme Court's ruling was clear. Alex Murdaugh did not receive a fair trial. The conviction was vacated. A retrial was ordered. And then the South Carolina Attorney General made an announcement that stunned the legal world. In the retrial, the state would consider seeking the death penalty.
While we strongly disagree with the Supreme Court, we respect this decision. It is currently my intention to seek a speedy retrial.
Alex Murdaugh is no longer a convicted murderer. He is an accused murderer. He sits in protective custody in a South Carolina prison, still serving 27 years for state financial crimes and 40 years for federal financial crimes. Even if he's acquitted of murder at retrial, he will likely die in prison. But the retrial changes the stakes for everyone. The prosecution says they have a strong case, otherwise they wouldn't consider capital punishment. The kennel video still exists. The financial motive still exists. The 20 months of lies still exist. Creighton Waters, the lead prosecutor, says they plan to retry the case as quickly as possible. Murdaugh's defense team says they have new evidence. They point to unknown male DNA found under Maggie's fingernails that was never run through the national database. They say the investigation by SLED was compromised because the agency had an inherent conflict. They wanted the conviction upheld. They intend to use the retrial to investigate whether Becky Hill acted alone or whether someone helped her tamper with the jury. And they say Murdaugh will never take a deal. He maintains he is factually innocent, not just that the state can't prove its case, but that he didn't do it. Mark Tinsley, the attorney who was suing Murdaugh when all of this started, doesn't believe him. When asked if there's any world in which Murdaugh didn't commit these crimes, Tinsley said one word: no. See, he believes he planned the murders, executed them alone, and would never have allowed anyone else into the conspiracy, because he couldn't risk someone having that kind of power over him. And when asked what a second trial will look like, Tinsley said this: it comes down to the lie. The kennel video. 3 people go to the kennels. 1 liar returns. And Alex Murdaugh still can't explain why. Go back to that first night. The body cam, the kennel, the casings in the dirt. Officers standing in the dark trying to figure out why there are rifle rounds at a scene where the only gun is a shotgun. One of them says it: I don't understand what all the shell casings are about. They didn't understand yet, but they would. Go back to the interview. The coffee, the handshake, the passcode read out loud. A man volunteering his DNA with a smile while his dead wife and son lay in a morgue, talking about his wonderful marriage, offering to connect the agents with Maggie's parents, playing the role of the grieving husband so convincingly that nobody in that room suspected a thing. Go back to the kennel video. 3 voices: Paul's, Maggie's, Alex's. Minutes before 2 of those voices went silent forever, the third voice would spend the next 20 months telling everyone he wasn't there. Maggie Murdaugh was 52. She was a mother. She was killed with a rifle at close range at the family property where she thought she was safe. Paul Murdaugh was 22. He was a son. He was killed with a shotgun in the same place, minutes apart from his mother. His phone was still in his hand when his father turned his body over and said he checked for a pulse. The man who called 911 that night, who brought a shotgun to the scene and told deputies about the boat crash before anyone asked, who sat across from SLED agents 3 days later and gave them his phone with a smile. That man is awaiting a second trial for their murders. This time, the death penalty is on the table. And the only thing that hasn't changed since the night of June 7, 2021, is the kennel video. 3 people went down. 1 came back. And the one who came back has never been able to explain why.